There are two of you. There's the pre-Ella diagnosis Susan and there's the post-Ella diagnosis Susan. Let's go back to before August 2025, before that bombshell went off for you.
So there was travel on the cards, which was something new for me, especially now my kids are a little bit more grown up. There was a little bit more flexibility around being able to go and everything was going to be fine. We'd just arrived to do some shopping at a shopping centre and the phone rang and it was the doctor, and I answered the phone and on the other end was a receptionist and she said, "Oh, well, I've got Ella's results. Can you come in?" He just rips the Band-Aid off. He just says, "Sit down, guys. We've just got Ella's blood test results and we think she's type 1 diabetic." And I was like, "What?" And I'm telling Ella it's okay, but she can see that I'm upset and I'm in shock. She's like, "Mum, I'm really scared." And I look back at that day and I feel guilty. I still get these waves of shock when I think about it. I still can't believe it. I get around it. And there's just no way around this. This is here. It's forever.
There is no cure. Living out your dreams, everything you've journaled for, everything you've worked for, you're finally doing, you're living it out and everything is going for you. And then the world as you know blows up. Literally never to be the same again. There are two of you. There's the pre-Ella diagnosis Susan and there's the post-Ella diagnosis Susan. All right, are you ready to talk about it?
Let's do it.
Let's go back to before August 2025, before that bombshell went off for you. What were you doing? How were you living your best life? Tell us everything.
The truth is, I probably was living my best life. I just bought a business, so we were 6 months in to owning the new business. It was going great. I had hundreds of members that I was creating a nice space for, so big community. I had a team of 12 staff that I was looking after, and I was building on that business. So it was exciting. It's exciting. I just sold out with our retreat business, our first retreat.
Yeah.
So that was pretty exciting as well. That was looking good. So there was travel on the cards, which was something new for me, especially now my kids are a little bit more grown up. There was a little bit more flexibility around being able to go and everything was going to be fine.
You're getting your life back at this point.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And how many hours do you think you were working a week at this point?
Definitely was overworking, somewhere between 50 to 60, maybe even more hours. A lot of that was planning for the new business that I'd just taken over. So lots of hours on the couch working, but it was all exciting things for me. So even though I was working all those hours, it was all good things.
Yeah. And what were your plans at that stage before this? What were your plans for the future?
Well, I suppose growing the business was number one. I was only 6 months in, so that was a big one for me, and making that community even better than it already is. It was great already, but I just wanted to do even better. Growing the retreat business was really important to me because I got to work with you on that. So that was special.
That was really cool.
Yeah, and then, there wasn't like major big plans for the future. It was just that I was right in the middle of the most exciting thing I'd probably done in all my career. So I was just living it up and absorbing it, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And what about Ella? What was she doing before all of this? What was Ella's dreams before 2025?
Well, Ella was just being a kid. So she was having play dates. She was just riding her bike and just doing all the kid things, playing sport. Just all kid things. She's pretty chilled sort of kid, so she just goes with the flow, but always active, always running around. Yeah. Lots of play dates, but
just living her best life.
Well, that's it. No worries, no dramas, like just doing what kids do. They don't have to worry because we do that for them.
That's our job.
Really.
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
our job. So, yeah.
Take us back now to August 2025, that diagnosis day. Tell us what you remember the whole day.
So I might just wind it back a touch from that. 5 days before that was when it all sort of started, but we didn't know what was going to happen or what the result was going to be. So Ella had some minor symptoms of going to the toilet a lot, and I really didn't think it was a big deal.
No, because why would you? Kids just go to the toilet.
So I thought, I'll just get it checked anyway. And the fact that she recognised it rang alarm bells
as
for me
being abnormal.
Yeah, for a child to notice that, I was just like, oh. And I thought I was being over the top, but booked the doctor's appointment anyway. So we had to go back for a fasting blood test. I'm assuming the doctor thought
Along those lines.
along the lines of type 1 diabetes, but didn't tell me. Yeah, so we did that. Fast forward 5 days, and I remember this day, and I've got a terrible, terrible memory. Anyone who knows me knows that I can't remember 5 minutes ago, like literally.
No, I can actually attest to that.
But that day, I remember everything we did, from reversing the car out of the driveway when we were going shopping. I just remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so we'd just arrived at it to do some shopping at a shopping centre, and the phone rang and it was the doctor, and I thought, oh, I'll ring him back. And I thought, oh, I'll just answer it. Had a car full. We had 7 people in the car. I answered the phone, and the person on the other end was a receptionist, and she said, oh, well, I've got Ella's results. Can you come in? I was like, yeah, just book us in for tomorrow. And she's like, no, you need to come in today. And I was like, hang on a sec. Is it urgent? And she just said yes. And I was like, oh, shit, this is bad. So
That's literally every mother's worst nightmare.
and she couldn't tell me anything. So I was just sitting there in the front seat of the car. Car's jam-packed with family, kids. Everyone's there. Ella's there. I think the shock on my face, everyone knew something was wrong. And I just said, no, it's all fine. And then they all got out the car, and then I had to tell Andrew that, they've called us in urgently. So then we all got back in the car after a few minutes of sort of digesting it all, not knowing what's wrong with my child, but knowing something bad is wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we all got back in the car, drove back home, and, dropped the bigger kids off home, and then straight down to the doctors. And
Your mind must have just been racing in a million places.
And yeah, it was. And I think anyone who's got a child who has been unwell or been diagnosed with something or got a call from a doctor, the anxiety was through the roof. Like I couldn't even explain the sick feeling I had in my stomach. And it's almost like I knew. Yeah, like I just knew something. It was something serious. Anyway, we get there, and then, he just rips the Band-Aid off. Like, he just says, sit down, guys. We've just got Ella's blood test results, and we think she's type 1 diabetic. And I was like, what? Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like how does that even happen? Yeah. So my brain's racing, and I'm a quite emotional person, if you can't tell. So tears just come streaming out of my face, and I can't control it. I wish I could have, but I just couldn't control.
Oh, I think that's a very natural reaction.
Yeah. So Ella's looking at me like, what does this mean? Because she doesn't really understand it.
Of course.
And, Andrew's staying pretty strong. If I'm honest, he just, was like, it's okay, it's going to be fine. And I'm telling Ella it's okay, but she can see that I'm upset and I'm in shock. She's like, Mum, I'm really scared. And in that moment, I don't think I had any control over my emotions. And I look back at that day and I feel guilty.
Yeah. Just
for not being able to control my own emotions to spare hers. So that's hard. And I know she remembers that day as well. So, yeah, I wish I could had a bit more control over my emotions. But, it's your child, yeah? And I only know what I know about type 1 now. I didn't know everything when I got told. So it was actually worse than what I thought, to be honest.
And you still had that same reaction, and you didn't even know how bad it was going to be.
Yeah, it's much worse than what I think majority of people know.
I would agree.
And I remember Ange saying this from Type 1 Foundation, you don't know what you know until you know it. And it's true. And yeah, so that was diagnosis
day.
That was, the afternoon. And then from there we were told to go home, pack your bags and go straight to the Royal Children's Hospital immediately. So what I didn't know at the time was that Ella could have got very, very unwell and gone into DKA, which is where the blood turns acidic, and essentially they can fall into comas. So that doctor's appointment that I thought I was going for nothing for actually probably saved her from getting very unwell.
Yeah.
So then we went home, packed our bags and went to the hospital. And that was the next part of it all.
That is a huge 24 hours.
Yeah, it was massive. I still get these waves of shock when I think about it. I still can't believe it. And we're nearly 12 months in now, and I still get these waves that come over me like, I can't believe this is happening or that it has happened. Why her? Not that I'd wish it upon anyone else, but you just go, why? Why her?
Yeah, I remember you saying this to me so many times that if you could, you would take her spot.
Oh, 100 times over, I would take her spot. Andrew and I have said it so many times, like if we could just take it, if I could give her my pancreas, I'd do that.
Yeah.
But these are things that we just can't do.
And I think that would be really hard as well. As a parent, you think that you can fix everything for your kids. So having that control taken off you that you can't fix this, I think would almost be one of the hardest feelings.
Yeah, it is. And I suppose from her perspective, mum and dad do fix everything. When there's a problem, she's coming to me.
You fix it.
And we fix it.
Yeah.
And we get around it. And there's just no way around this. This is here. It's forever.
There is no cure.
And like I said, at the time, I didn't know a lot about it. But the following 2 days were a pretty big awakening to how big this is.
And in those 2 days as well was Ella's 11th birthday.
So, yeah. So Ella was pretty excited about her birthday last year. She had a big list of birthday presents and things we were going to do. And, yeah, she turned 11 in hospital and she was learning how to inject herself with insulin, which was really hard. So the scale of it was, like I said, a lot bigger than I realised. So Ella, she's a champion. She really is. We got into hospital. They put us through emergency and then we went up to the ward and then we pretty much were settling in to stay for the next 3 days. And they came in and they were like, we need to start giving you insulin immediately. I think her blood sugars didn't even read on the pinprick test. So they were well above 30.
Yeah.
Just for perspective, most people run at probably like 6 as an average for their blood glucose levels. So they were dangerously high. So nurses come in and they said to her, they said to us, we need to give you insulin, and they asked us to inject her so we could learn how to do it. And then we offered Ella to do it herself, and she said, yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to have to learn how to do this.
She did the first one.
Yeah, she did her very first injection herself. She had no dramas at all doing it. She's like, I need to learn it, so I'll just do it.
That is incredible.
And
what a brave little girl.
Extremely brave. And I look at it because we live it every day. You sort of forget, but you just some days I just look at her and I go, God, how do you do this? Like she ended up on 4 injections a day. So, and those 4 injections were with meals and then her nighttime long acting insulin and not to mention correction doses in between. So she could be having anywhere from 4 to 6 needles injected into her tiny little body daily. And then not to forget that she has a continuous glucose monitor, which is on her arm permanently. So she's got that always on her. So we got given, I'm saying backpacks full of brochures, information. We had dietitians, blood specialists, diabetes educators, nurses. We just had everyone. And then we had people coming in saying, do you want to donate blood for research? And it was just so overwhelming. I can't even explain it. There was just so much going on. And then I didn't realize that her insulin doses heavily relied on knowing carbs in food. So that was the next sort of step in learning all the carbs in all the food. She has to carb count now and she's 11. So luckily Andrew and I sort of come from that fitness background, so we understand it, but it was intense. We're literally weighing food out. We're weighing everything down to the last piece of pasta, whether it's cooked pasta or if it's dry pasta, or all these little things matter. And then in the meantime, she can't eat normal. She can't have a milkshake anymore. She can't do all the things that normal kids do. Kids give out lollipops for birthday parties. She can't have that. Or she doesn't have cake because she's worried it'll spike her levels. So, yeah, she really got given the short straw, and it's crap. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's so much to deal with at any age, but I feel like that age in particular, you're accustomed to the life you've got and you're used to being able to take the lollipop at school and you're used to all those things. And so then you know what you're missing out on as well.
Yeah.
And you're not old enough to maybe not worry about those things either.
I think because she's quite mature for her age, she definitely felt it, not being able to have certain things, and she's learnt to say no to things as well. I feel like that's the mature side of her going, oh, no, thank you. She doesn't explain why. She just says no thanks when people offer a biscuit, a cookie, which is pretty normal when you go visit someone or whatever. She just declines. And it's not that she can't eat a cookie. She can. But it's more the fact that she's got this anxiety around spiking her blood glucose levels.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like the feeling of it. There's sort of like a whole nother side to it other than just the physical side. There's this mental load that she's carrying, and she's 11. We try to carry the mental load for her, but she's very aware.
She's old enough to understand what the repercussions are of, eating the cookie or the sugar spiking or dropping dramatically.
Yeah, and she does. She gets it. But she also, so like I was saying, there's the mental load and the physical load. The physical side is, her blood glucose levels spike. But for her, a big focus from a sort of medical perspective is keeping her time in range. She's very anxious about that because as part of the technology, which I must say is really, really, really advanced, can tell us if her blood glucose levels are a certain amount of time in range, and there is a goal. So it's like you're constantly chasing this blood sugar level, and it's almost impossible to be perfect as a normal human. And she's got all these other factors involved, and she's chasing this above 70%. But because she's my child, she wants 80%. So she wants to be better. And when she's not, she's upset. And it's just something a kid just shouldn't have to think about. And it's just made her life challenging, even from the perspective of like exercise. So we have to fully plan a day ahead of her netball game. So playing sport for her would look like having a good breakfast, but then getting to the game, checking her blood sugar levels, pinpricking, and then deciding whether she needs a snack or she doesn't. And then constant monitoring through games. So she comes off every quarter, we pinprick, we see where she's at. So countless numbers of pinpricks. And then it's the crash afterwards. So for her, she could run around for the whole 40 minutes. But then probably half an hour after her game, she's in a massive hypo. Or it could be during the game. Yeah. And she just has to come off and just has to live with the fact that she won't be going back on court. Like it's just how it is.
Yeah. That's so much.
Yeah, so it does affect, it's not just the food, it's the exercise. It's Ella might be playing a game of Tiggy at school and then her alarms go. So the constant alarms is the other thing. So alarm goes off saying you're low. She just has to sit out.
Yeah, that's really hard for an active kid, any kid, but a really active kid who likes playing and running around, to be told they just have to go sit down in a corner.
And not all the kids are going to stop playing the game. They just keep going because they're kids.
Yeah.
They don't want to ruin their game. So she just has to sit out. Usually a friend will stay with her, but yeah, that's just another layer to it all.
I know. I've seen it with you when our kids are playing and the alarm goes off and they've all had to go sit down
Yeah, I do like that you're like, everyone sit down. Ella needs to sit down. So, I mean, it is nice that she does have friends that will do that.
But it's a real thing. It's happening constantly for her.
Yeah.
But then I've seen the other extreme as well when she goes high and you've told her to go run laps at school.
I'm like, yeah, you need to move your body a bit, mate. Like,
we're going to run that sugar out.
Yeah, that's it. Ella was really fortunate to get an insulin pump. So she transitioned from injections to a pump that is attached to her permanently. There's a lot of maintenance with that. But so that has helped regulate the blood glucose levels a little bit. It's still quite a lot of maintenance because we caught Ella's diagnosis fairly early. Her pancreas still excretes some insulin. It will stop. It's not like it's going to partially work. It will stop and it will excrete random amounts. So this is why we still get all those hypoglycemia episodes or hypos, because we just don't know
what you're working with that day.
The pump will give her what the blood sugar level is at the time.
Yeah.
But then her pancreas might decide it wants to excrete some extra.
It's like, okay, now let's just throw your whole levels out of whack because I feel like working a little bit today.
Yeah, exactly.
What has Ella taught you through all of this?
Ella's taught me, she's shown me resilience, because I didn't even know as an adult that I would be as resilient as she's been.
With it all.
She just gets on with it. Like, she has her good and bad days, but she doesn't let them get her down. The next day she gets up and gets on with life. The hard thing is watching her go through those the hard days and the hard times. It's really hard to watch because recovery from a hypo could take a few hours or it could take 24 hours. So she's missed out on a lot of things. It might be school or excursions or camp last year. She couldn't stay. So there's a lot of things she's missing out on. I know it's only short term until we get our heads around it, but we're a year in and we're pretty all over it. But I feel like there's still so much more to learn about it, and every person is different. We probably micromanage a little bit because we worry. It's a constant worry. It's not something that goes away. We very rarely get a full night's sleep because alarms will go. She barely gets a full night's sleep because she's got her insulin pump alarm going, her phone alarm, which is connected by Bluetooth, and then our phones will go as well. So the whole house is disrupted pretty often.
Constantly.
And that we can't change. We can't stop the alarms. We can't, they're life-saving. So when these alarms go off, we need to address it immediately. There's no, let's go back to sleep, turn it off. It doesn't work like that. So the constant monitoring of that is challenging. It's hard.
Yeah, that is really hard.
Sleep
and a lot
deprivation. And I suppose you start to get tired, then you start to forget things, and so it affects all, parts of your life. We've been late to school every day this year, and we've all been late. So
yeah, but so have I, and I don't have that excuse.
But anyway, they're just other things that, stop us from being on time. It just does, because it needs to be dealt with.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions of type 1 diabetes?
This one. So most people think that type 1 is the same as type 2. They're completely different. They do affect blood glucose levels. I get that. But type 1 is an autoimmune disease. It happens randomly. Ella was one of those random people it chose. She didn't do anything wrong. It was nothing to do with her diet or anything that she did or we did. So that's one big misconception.
And I think that would be one of the hardest parts, is there's nothing you could have done to prevent this. Nothing.
A doctor said to us that she was always going to get it.
Yep.
I won't go into like the whole medical side of it because I'll probably get it wrong, but she was always going to get it. It was just when. So
she was a ticking time bomb.
Pretty much that's how it works. Usually something triggers it. So like an illness, it could be a cough, a cold, just a virus. And that's pretty much what happened. So it could have been brewing for years or it could have been brewing just for a few weeks. We'll never know.
But that bomb was always going to go off.
Yeah, well, from what we're told, and in a way, it was probably, there's no good timing for anything, but she was old enough to understand and not sort of fight us on injecting her.
Yeah.
I could only imagine how hard it is for someone who has a 2 or 3 year old, which it does happen at that age, or even a 4 or 5 year old, like they look at a needle and they're scared.
I feel like even my 7-year-old, I don't think she would handle it very well because that's almost still too young to understand this needs to happen. I know it hurts. It's for your own good sort of thing. So I think, like you said, there's no perfect timing, but she was at a good age to actually understand those things and to be the one that goes, all right, I'll do the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. She's incredibly brave and smart as well, just while we're complimenting.
Just throw out those things. Any other misconceptions about type 1?
Yeah. So I think something that people say quite often, and I know they don't mean it in any malicious way, is that, type 1, that's manageable.
Yeah, they think it's an easy autoimmune disease to have because it's just insulin or it's just your diet.
I think they think it's just a jab and you're fine. The management of this is 24/7. There's no switching off for Ella or for us as her parents.
Yeah.
There's no switching off.
It's like having a newborn baby in the
permanently.
house. Yeah.
And I suppose even when I look into the future, I'm like, I still want to help her manage it because it's not going to be easy, even when she's older, an adult, or, I've got to think about her future. And it's actually pretty sad that I have to think so far ahead that I'm like, I want her to have the best technology and the best medical team that she can have. So I'm thinking ahead of things like that, like making sure that we've got money aside to pay for the best of the best for her.
Yeah.
I don't want her to go without things that she needs to give her the best possible life that she can have. Sorry.
We knew this was coming.
Yeah,
we knew it was coming. This is an obvious question, I think. What is it that you're worried about for her future down the track? Because this isn't, like you said, this isn't going away. This is with her for life.
So besides of the obvious physical side of things, it's the mental side of things. The load on her mental health will be big, and we know this because it's statistically proven.
Yep.
So she's this is another thing people don't know, is she's 3 or 4 times more likely to get anxiety and depression. We're already seeing signs of anxiety. She's 11 years old.
Yeah.
Like, she shouldn't have anxiety around whether she should or shouldn't eat a piece of fruit. It doesn't even matter if it's a bad food or a good food. She still has to worry about it. And this is also a statistic, she has to make over 180 decisions extra on top of what a normal human makes in a day.
That's a lot. And I know that as an adult we have decision fatigue, so I can't imagine what that would feel like on top.
And then watching her little face deflated when she sees those levels going up. And she's like, but I'm really hungry, but I don't think I want to eat, Mum, because I don't want to make it worse. And obviously we let her eat. We just account for it with insulin. But she worries about those things, and she just shouldn't have to. She should be able to go to the pantry and go, I'm feeling hungry. I want a kiwi fruit or whatever she wants. Mm-hmm. And she just has to think about it. And then on top of that, she has to wait 15 minutes after she boluses for her food. She has to wait. So there's just so many things.
Well, it's not that normal childhood, or even for you and I when we go like, I'm hungry. You go to the fridge, you get something out, you walk away. She can't do that.
Yeah.
Ever.
It will just never be like that for her. Mm. The challenges, the other thing I worry about for her future is even just simple things like traveling. She can't go through airport security. She has to be pat down. She was anxious about that. She's like, do they have to touch me? I was like, yeah, like they've got to pat you down. And so she has to get pulled aside, and, it's just another thing that just makes her stand out. Mm. I think traveling alone scares me for her, because if she does go into some sort of episode of hypoglycemia, who's there to help her? Mm. She's in another country or traveling alone, or yeah, like that's another thing I worry about. And then I suppose the other big thing is in her teen years, how's it going to make her feel? Because she will feel different. She's told me, I just hate feeling different to everybody else. So that's a big one for her, which will play on her mind and affect her mental health. So having a device attached to her, even simple things like an exam, she can't take her pump off. So if she goes low and in a quiet room,
It's going to be
alarm's going to go off. We had a funeral not long ago, and the anxiety around that for her was big because
of course
these are the things she's
that's
got
not
to
even
think
something
about.
I've even thought about. Like, of course, like, your phone, you put on silent, that kind of thing, but that's not an option for her
She can't.
with that. And so, like you said, exams, funerals, anywhere where you're expected to be quiet,
Job
you're
interview.
the person that's got the alarm going off.
And then having to explain it. So
Yeah, and I think she'd be so sick of explaining it. She may not be yet, but I feel like that time it will definitely come where she just won't want to explain it anymore.
yeah, it's a lot for her. And like I said, we try to take that load, but it's just there for her.
Yeah.
She's never going to forget it. It's on her body. We're moving her site, so she's got constant bruises and pinpricks and adhesive. We put adhesive patches over. She's got rashes. She's got adhesive marks left on her body because it's so damn hard to get off. There's so much involved, and so they're probably the main things I worry about, and then just her managing it properly as an adult, which we're trying to set her up for success now. We're showing her all the right ways so that she does the right thing for herself.
I feel like she's pretty already on top of that one. If she can do the first ever injection, this kid's like on the right path. Looking back, what would be the hardest part for you personally?
It's just not being able to take it away from her. Well, I just can't. It just comes back to that. But I suppose a hard part would be watching her lose her childhood to a degree.
Yeah.
That affects her, but it affects me because I'm watching my child has this massive bright future, and she still does, but she's just got this massive challenge with everything she does now thrown on top of it. And it's just hard. That's hard. That's hard to see her lose that freedom.
Yeah.
I just can't. It still shocks me that this is even happening.
Obviously, you're still doing a lot with your life. So the pre-August 2025 Susan was going after everything in her dream life. From where I'm sitting, you're still doing all of those things and managing this. Can you tell me how the heck you're doing that?
The funny part is when Ella was diagnosed, I had 3 weeks off work. I couldn't be around people. I needed to learn the
What
new
you were
normal.
doing.
And throughout it all, I just couldn't leave her side. I couldn't leave her. But we were talking a lot, Ella and I, because I was sleeping in her bed with her every night. I didn't want to leave her side. And you know what? She actually inspires me to do more, which probably sounds insane. She's 11. But every time I have an idea, she's like, Mum, that is so cool. Like, yes, do it. Or, booking our next retreat out, which we did. She was like, I'm like, we're thinking about another retreat. Mum, you should do it. You're going to be so amazing. Like,
She's such a little cheerleader.
She is, and she's 11, and she pushes me to be better because I want her to be better. I want her to follow her dreams, and it's so funny that an 11-year-old is encouraging me to follow my dreams. What?
And I think as well, because she's in the position she's in and she's telling you that, you've got no excuse. If she believes that you can do it and she believes in that and she believes in you, you have no choice but to succeed.
I need to show her that even when times are hard, we can still do things.
Yeah.
We can still do hard things. We can do things that make us light up. It's just so she's my biggest little cheerleader.
Before we wrap up, there's obviously more kids getting diagnosed every single day with type 1. What advice would you give, or what would you tell a mum whose child has just been diagnosed with type 1?
So even though we are a freshly diagnosed family, I would say that the first thing I would say is give yourself grace. It's hard. It's it's never going to be easy, but it will get easier, if that makes sense. So you're going to go through really hard times. You're going to question all of your decisions because all of your decisions affect your child. So just give yourself grace and take the time to learn about it. You're going to stuff up and that's going to be okay because you've got a team of medical people behind you. Just keep an eye on the emotional side of it for yourself and for your child because, as I said earlier, the mental side is just as hard as the physical side of things at times.
Yeah, I feel like from where I sit, I feel like it's 50-50 with you, like for you and for Ella, that mental versus physical side. The physical side is the part you can manage probably easier because it is more scientific, it's more calculation based. You know what to do. The mental side, I think, is almost so much harder because it's not black and white to be able to handle it. It doesn't come with a manual to handle it. The physical
really
side at
doesn't.
least does come with a manual.
Exactly. Yep. Spot on. But yeah, give yourself grace and you will be okay. Like you just will. You just got to work as a team with your family and get help when you need it.
Yeah.
Like take the help.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
How did you and Andy get through those first few months together?
So I was a mental wreck. That's the truth. I was insanely emotional.
Insanely insane.
Insanely insane. I was crying a lot. I was just so sad. And I've got to say, Andrew stepped up and just took the reins on all the medical stuff. I was just so overwhelmed. I couldn't absorb what we're meant to do. And her injection amounts were changing all the time. And he just took the reins on it and did all the medical stuff. And I suppose I was probably Ella's little emotional support, but he did the hard stuff and they were big decisions to make on, what to dose her and all those things. So
he was taking care of the physical, you took care of the emotional with Ella. And so I feel like in that you got to split those two roles. I don't think you can do both of those roles at one time in this early beginning.
Yeah, it was hard because, injections hurt and he would have to give them to her and help her with it. And so he had to sort of wear the brunt of physical pain for her as well in a way where he felt bad.
Of course.
And then she'd come to me for a cuddle afterwards. So I feel like we really worked well as a team, as in he picked up what he knew and I picked up what I knew, but then we'd cross over as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of, I think working as a team was really important, that there wasn't just one person doing everything. And a lot of type 1 mums that I've spoken to say that they do it all. I'm very lucky to say that we share it.
Yeah.
And if there's something I can't do, he'll do it, or something he
just
can't
steps
do,
in.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important too, especially in those early days. If you don't learn it, you'll never learn it. And I feel like we really tried hard to sort of back each other up in learning all aspects of it, but knew what our roles were.
Yeah, I agree. I think from an outsider perspective, you guys really did just sink or swim or, fight or flight, whatever you want to say. You guys swam. You did not sink. You guys really came together as a team. And I think we could see it from the outside how well you guys just really just jumped in. You're like, what needs to be done? How do we do this? And you did it. Like you said, yes, you might have been an emotional basket case, but you were doing what you needed to do and he did what he needed to do, and it came together really well. And I think that's probably the reason why Ella can handle it so well.
Yeah, I think we did nail that, to be honest. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is Ella, in her first 8 weeks of diagnosis, and I probably should have mentioned this, such a trooper. She organised a fundraiser for Breakthrough Type 1 and raised nearly $6,000 for research.
Yeah, what a legend.
In her first 8 weeks of being diagnosed.
Yeah.
I almost feel like that was a bit of a distraction for us in a positive way, but it gave her something to focus on. So she organised this blue tea and she got a blue dress and I had to get a matching dress, and it just gave us a bit of a distraction, but also raising money for research was important to her at the time. She was like, Mum, I just want a cure, and it broke my heart because I know that in 100 years all that's happened is they've created insulin. So I know that a cure is definitely possible, but I just don't know how soon that is.
But I mean, even the fact that there's insulin now is still like an amazing,
Oh.
breakthrough from that side of
100
things.
years
So
ago.
imagine another 100 years from now. She may not see it, but what she has done has contributed to that outcome down the
I'm
track.
honest, I actually do think she will see massive changes in the type 1 diabetes research and cures. And I actually do believe potentially there could be a cure in her time. I honestly,
hope
my heart
so.
of hearts, I honestly believe that is a possibility.
Yeah, I think so. How did Ella's diagnosis affect the whole family? So you've spoken about you and Andy. You've spoken obviously about how you feel, but there's 2 other people in this family as well.
Yeah, so my boys, so Tom and Josh were 16 and 17 at the time, and they were very supportive of Ella. They were very understanding and compassionate to her, but they took the back seat. They had to. And I actually have a bit of guilt around that because we just had to prioritise her.
There's only 24 hours in a day.
And 24 hours of that was monitoring her blood glucose levels.
Yeah.
I mean, we got sent home after 3 days, basically with a kit that was almost like I was a nurse or we were doctors. So it was very overwhelming, and they just took the back seat and they did it with poise. They didn't complain. They just knew they had to.
Yeah, your boys are beautiful. They really are. You've done an amazing job raising those boys.
Thank you.
We talk about that a lot in our house. Like, yeah, your boys are just beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, no, they championed it all, and I'm so grateful for that. But I still had that bit of guilt.
That guilt. I still think they get a lot out of you. I see the text messages asking for money at the canteen and the rides to work and to everywhere. And so I think you're still doing a pretty good job of taking care of them as well.
The messages are one words now. It's literally
Money.
transfer, money, mum. That's it.
Or like, when are you home? I need to leave. I want to go here. Can you drop me here?
Good thing Tom just got his license.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing that story. I know that was actually a really hard one for you to get out, and you've probably not been dreading this interview with me, but like you've definitely been, it's played a toll on you thinking about the story, and obviously you have to live it every day. So thank you.
Thank you.